They are just a couple of defensive pieces away from really competing for a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. Yeah, that's bad.
Get them the fuck out. They don't deserve it.
As always, the last couple of weeks that we've done this, comments, please, people, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, leave comments on these videos, leave comments on the shorts. We look at them pretty much every single week. Derek is actually going to start responding to you.
Yes.
He's just a lazy piece of
I'm
crap.
not lazy. Fuck you.
You're lazy and stupid.
All right, fair enough.
But another question this week we have chosen. This one is from Asher in Boonesboro, Maryland. Asher from Boonesboro, Maryland. Nice to see you, Asher. We're going back to the East Coast on this one. He did start off with saying, love the podcast, love to see what you guys are doing. We appreciate that, Asher. As always, we appreciate all of our fans. He wanted to start it off, I am a die-hard Baltimore Ravens fan. Makes sense, coming from Maryland. He said Baltimore has locked it up. They've locked up not only, being the division winner, but also being one of the best teams within the NFL this year going into the playoffs. He is curious of the perennial NFL mid teams. So we're talking teams that aren't super teams, right? So we're not talking Kansas City, Buffalo, Ravens, Detroit, Eagles. We're not talking those. We're talking those mid-tier teams. He's wondering which of those teams do you see having the most potential to break through as one of the best teams in the NFL and a Super Bowl contender in the next 1 to 2 years?
Ooh, that's a
And
good
I'm
question.
and I'm gonna open that one off to you to start, Derek. By the way, Asher, we appreciate your
That's a great
question.
question.
You stay strong. Good luck to your Baltimore Ravens, not only this upcoming week, but the weeks previous. Derek, let's start us off. What do you think? Who out of the mid-tier teams do you think has the best chance to really take that next step in the
All
next
right,
year
this
or
is,
two?
this is a question for you, and I want your opinion. Would you consider Minnesota a mid-tier team this year?
I would I would
Because,
not.
because okay, this
They're
is hard.
14-2. It's kind of hard to have them a mid-tier team, Derek.
So, all right,
So mid-tier teams we're talking about are either low division winners or those top of the tier wild card winners. So you could look at Chargers, Broncos, you could look at the Dolphins, you could look at the Commanders, you could look at Green Bay. I would even consider Tampa Bay in there, even though they're pretty mid, I would say. So those are the type of teams we're looking at here.
fuck. This is tough. I'm stuck between two. One of the teams I want to just exile them out because they've had too many chances to be involved in this is the Miami Dolphins. Get them the fuck out. They don't deserve it.
Okay.
I think the two teams, in my opinion, would be the Packers because obviously Jordan Love has established himself as a I'd say top 7 quarterback in the NFL.
Okay.
And Matt LaFleur is obviously a good coach. He's been coaching the team for a very long time. Their team is very well developed. All they need to do is just add a couple little pieces, and then they could contend for their division because they're in a tough division. Detroit and Minnesota. Both of those teams are 14-2, which is fucking ridiculous. The Packers are 11-5 this year, and they're in third place. So I feel like they have the highest chance of being a Super Bowl contender in the coming years. But another pick that could be the Chargers
Yeah.
is because their coach, Mr. Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. He is a great coach. He just left Michigan to win after winning a national championship and then bringing the Chargers to the playoffs his first season with basically no one.
Yeah.
Everyone counted the Chargers out and saying, "Oh, they're not going to go anywhere. They don't have anyone to throw to." But look, they just dominated the Patriots. Obviously, it is the Patriots, but dominated them. Herbert is playing well. All you got to do is just get those wide receivers right. Obviously, Lad McCunkey is very good. No, he was very underrated. No one even thought about him until the season started. Lad, Quentin Johnson is slowly but surely catching the football. And obviously, all their young talent, J.K. Dobbins, when he stays healthy, he's very good. So I think the highest chance would be Green Bay, but my favorite is the Chargers.
Okay. I like those. I do like the Chargers one. I think Green Bay was a little. I'm not going to give you an easy one there, but Jordan Love being established and them having some really good offensive weapons that are all young on their wide receiving core, I think that helps a lot. So, yes, I do think Green Bay is going to be there for quite some time, but I do like the Chargers one. I'm going to go two of my own, right? So, there's a few different avenues of thought that I really tried to hunker down on this one. I think one of the obvious ones that is not going to be one of my two is the Commanders because of their young rookie quarterback and what he's been able to do in his first year. But I'm not going to go them. I think my most realistic to win to really vie for a Super Bowl in the next year or two is the Cincinnati Bengals. If they can get two or three key defensive players this offseason, and that's on top, I'm already assuming that they're going to lock up Jamar Chase, right? I don't think that's an afterthought. With Joe Burrow, that's got to be priority number one. But if they can get a couple of defensive pieces, I truly think not only can they win the division, because really, no offense to Steelers out there, Steelers don't scare me with Russell Wilson at quarterback. The Ravens are obviously a very tough team to deal with. Sorry, Asher. I know you're a Ravens fan. You asked the question. But I do think the Bengals with Burrow at quarterback, with Jamar Chase, with how great their offense is, they are just a couple of defensive pieces away from really competing for a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. Within the next 2 years, that is. My dark horse, and you're going to like this one, Derek.
Okay.
You're going to like this one a lot. And this is obvious. This is very dependent on how the next draft goes, who they take as a quarterback. And this is, I'm going to extend the timeline a little bit. I'm going to go 3 to 5 years. The Las Vegas Raiders. I think they have a lot of bones that works for that team. They have one of the best defensive players in the league with Max Crosby. Believe it or not, they seriously do have a top 10 coach in the league because even though they only have 4 wins, my God, are they playing hard every game.
Hmm.
They're playing for him. They're not quitting on Pierce. He seems to be right in the mix of things, especially on that side. And then on the other side, they have some pieces on offense. They're obviously missing a very big chunk of it due to a quarterback, right? I don't think Aiden O'Connell's the guy. Gardner Minshew's definitely not the guy. But you have arguably the best tight end in the league, especially moving forward. This is his rookie year, for God's sake, and look what he's done. You have a very good receiver who could be your number one in Jacoby Myers. You need to work on the running back position a little bit. But I think with the quarterback, I think we're making a few moves here and there over the next couple of years. I truly do believe they could be a strong contender in the next 3 to 5. I know that wasn't the question, so I apologize, Asher. So my 1 to 2 years is the Bengals. 3 to 5, I'm loving the Raiders stock. Loving the Raiders stock.
I appreciate that one because obviously they have to rebuild a lot.
Yes.
Within the next obviously you said 3 to 5 years, they have to do a lot. They have to build, obviously give their future quarterback protection,
Yep.
weapons within those 3 years. I think it's very possible because you're exactly right. They love playing for Pierce. I don't know what it is, how it is out in when they're practice or whatever, but they love playing for him. They even
Yep.
emphasized even Devonte Adams before he got traded. He
Yep.
loved him. He said I'm not playing for this team unless he's the head coach.
And this is just a young rookie head coach. This is a guy, and a lot of people forget what experiences can do for a man, but this is a guy who won a Super Bowl with the Giants, played under one of the best coaches of all time in Tom Coughlin for the Giants, who actively speaks with him a ton. I think they're missing a quarterback, which is with a lot of teams, but I think they have the bare bones to make a good team in the next 3 to 5 years to actually be a contender. And I'm very impressed with how they played. I mean, not for nothing, they lost by a last second field goal, right? To the Kansas City Chiefs, to the back-to-back defending champions. So they're playing hard. They don't get blown out of games for a 4-win team.
I that's a pretty good pick. The two teams I thought you were going to take honestly was New England because as of
Mm,
now New England has the number one pick.
they do.
So that first pick is either they're not taking a quarterback,
They're
and
taking
if
Travis.
they're taking Travis Hunter,
Yeah,
and their coach that they have, I think his name is Gerard Mayo,
draw Mayo.
is from what I've seen very good, and
He is.
Drake May
And just,
is a very good quarterback too. So
He
they
is.
do have the pieces that they have, and maybe with a couple additions in free agency and a couple additions in the draft, they could be back to contending for the division.
Yeah, I think the Patriots is a very good one if you look at it from my perspective as well, the 3 to 5 years, because what they truly need is offensive weapons.
Hmm.
They have pretty much nobody around Drake May.
Demario Douglas.
Yeah, that's bad. So Travis Hunter would be a great start on that. But then, yes, in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to have to build that up. They have some key veteran pieces on that team, and Gerard Mayo, you're right, has looked like one of those other young head coaches with Pierce, where his players do enjoy playing for him. So there are some good ones in the next 3 to 5 years. Sorry we went on a little bit of a tangent, Asher. Appreciate the question as always. I hope you're doing well in Maryland. And let me read this one more time. Boonesboro. Never heard of that, but apparently it's a nice small town in Maryland. So good luck to your Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs this upcoming year. Thank you for the question. People keep commenting. We'll get back at it next week. But yeah, that was another good mailbox. That was
Yeah,
another good one.
yeah. I honestly like the ones where like we could like deep dive into like the
Yeah.
rebuilds because like last week we had the Travis Hunter question. This year we had the this week we had the obviously who's going to be contending for the Super Bowl in the coming years. So I like it. I like it.
Keeping us on our toes for sure, Derek.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Especially because you're stupid and we need your brain to actually get running. But
Oh, fuck you.
all right, so moving on from the mailbag,